everybody, I am Jessica Koch, and this is another Profound Professionals interview. I started this interview series several years back. I really had a calling and a desire in my heart to feature industry leaders, people who are making a difference in their industry, CEOs, authors, speakers from all over the world. I just love having the opportunity to get to know them, hear their story and their journey, and also share the amazing other things that they're up to. Today, I have the complete honor of having Dr. Jenifer Price, also known as Dr. Jen, so for short, she is the founder and of You-vize-me, LLC, and she is a college and career counselor for teens and young adults, an author, a speaker, and an online course creator. And I think that it sums up everything that is happening in our country right now, or as the world has hit. Everyone is publishing a book, creating a course as fast as they can, getting online, and becoming an entrepreneur because we're at like 27 plus unemployment. So what you do is, I think, more key and anchor and important for the growth of our economy and the success of the future of our country and even the world than ever before. So your title has taken on, and the path you have chosen has taken on a whole new level of, feel a little pressure, just the weight of the world on your shoulders, and you happen to have the world behind you. So, I think that sums it up. So if you didn't feel any pressure in your job before, hopefully I put the pressure on.
Thanks, Jessica.
You're welcome. So before we get started about what you're up to and what you do right now, can you share with us a little bit about maybe where you're from and just what started your story and your journey before you became Dr. Jen? Because you didn't come out of the womb that way. For sure.
No. I'm actually a native Texan, born and raised in Texas. I grew up outside of the Houston area and relocated to Austin because I attended the University of Texas at Austin.
I mean, that's some big hair you got. They do everything big in Texas.
Yes, we do. That is totally true.
Real cowgirl hat's got to go on that big hair.
There you go. Yes, yes. And I have two.
Yeehaw.
But I don't have boots. I don't have any cowboy boots.
Well, we might have to fix
a belt buckle, but I have the two cowboy hats.
There you go.
And so my story actually is interesting and is unique in that
we were hoping. It's the worst when they're boring stories. We were all hoping, weren't we? Were we all hoping this is going to be an interesting story? I know I was. All right, let's hear it. Lay it on us.
Well, I actually grew up in a single parent home, and it was because my mother passed away when I was 7, and she left behind myself and 3 younger sisters, and my father raised 4 girls. So he had to learn how to cook and clean, and he still did all the outside
4 girls.
Stuff. 4 girls.
4 girls. That's the big cooking.
4 girls.
That's the easy thing he had to learn. He had to manage 4.
Right. Oh, and then he didn't quite get our combing our hair down.
A lot of hair. I feel it. I'm feeling it.
Didn't quite get that down, but he did learn how to cook quite well, and he still handled all the outdoor stuff, mowing the lawn and washing the vehicles and working full time and volunteering in the church. He was a really good man, very supportive, encouraged us. He taught us from a very young age that college was the next step after high school. That was a non-negotiable, college. And my dad didn't actually go to college and get a 4-year degree. He had a welding certificate, and he worked in utilities. He had some coursework in community college. And so we never talked about how we would pay for it. And so I decided that, I need to start figuring out a plan. And I decided I wanted to go on a scholarship. Mm-hmm. And one day we had a gentleman come over, and he was trying to sell my dad some insurance. Mm-hmm. And I didn't quite understand how insurance related to paying for college, but I did announce to this stranger that I was going on a full academic scholarship to college. And he told me it wasn't possible. Mm. That was the wrong thing to tell me. And this was when I was in 7th grade. And I always joke about how my career picked me in 7th grade. I didn't know it at the time, but I started going to the library, which I love going to the library. I love to read. And so I started looking for scholarship information in 7th grade.
That's awesome.
And I know that's a little strange, but as a child, I also read encyclopedias because I was just curious like that. So it was normal for me to go to the library and do research in junior high. And so I would ask my dad for stamps and say, you know, I'm writing these scholarship foundations, asking for their applications so that I could read them and figure out what I need to do to be a winner one day. And so that actually paid off. Fast forward through high school to the tune of a full academic scholarship to the University of Texas at Austin, hook 'em horns. Can you tell I'm a Longhorn? And so it did pay off.
That is awesome. The librarian must have loved you. She just must
I was there every Saturday.
must have loved you. That is awesome. So you decided, I guess, what drove you as you went filling out these applications. So what inspired you to you know, to go all the way for your doctorate? I mean, how did that lead you through to here?
Well, I actually, when I was a junior in college, I realized after attempting organic chemistry 3 times, unsuccessfully, you know, I took it the first time, I was like, whoa, this is too difficult, let me drop it. Second time, oh, I barely got out with a D. And then I was like, oh, I need a C. So I took it a 3rd time. And I was like, wow, it's like I'm banging my head against the wall. I'm going to tutoring, you know, I'm going to the supplemental instructional class. I bought the molecular models. It just did not make sense for me. And I was miserable. I wasn't happy. And so I had this epiphany. I had this notion, let me go get some career testing. And so I went for career testing, and it pointed to some majors I had not considered. Sociology, which is what my bachelor's degree is in, social work, which is what my master's is in, and education, which is what my PhD is in. And so career testing helped get me
And that career
on the
testing
right path.
stuff just kind of works a little, doesn't it?
It does. And I actually do career testing in my private practice because I'm a big fan of it and I know how impactful it was
Yeah.
for me. It made a huge difference. And so, but I didn't know I was going to be a college counselor, and probably till later in my undergraduate years, probably towards my senior year, when I started really trying to decide, okay, I'm gonna get this master's degree, what will I do with it? And that's when I realized, okay, well, what am I really good? What do I care about? I really want to help people. And what are some ways that I could help people? And so that's kind of where when I designed my private practice, I designed it in my senior year at UT Austin. Hook 'em horns. And I won't do it every time, but
All right.
I just might.
I'm all right with it. Just pretty soon everybody in the audience is going to be doing it too.
On cue, hook 'em horns. and so that was kind of the catalyst for earning the master's degree, you know, knowing that the counseling skills would be important to help students. And traditionally, the pathway is to become a guidance counselor, do it 20, 30 years. And then later in your career, you have an opportunity to help students with college admissions. Well, I knew I wanted to do that right away. And so that's part of why I chose the social work degree. And I started my career right away in a career center. And a year later, I was managing it. And so, but I realized that I couldn't help as many students as I wanted to in terms of the level of depth in the counseling, unless I had a private practice. So I didn't start off wanting to be an entrepreneur. I just wanted to help students with their plan for career success. And so I'm an accidental entrepreneur.
I'm with you. That my whole story is a Jonah and the whale story. Honey, we don't have time for it. It's a pull me out of by the ankles. I was hiding in the whale. It was nice in there. I had no desire to start a business whatsoever. It born itself. But here I am and happy as can be. So I totally get you there. Now tell us, what does it look like? What's the experience to work with you, and how does it work when you're working with You-vize-me? So kind of give us the journey of the experience the family and the students going to go through from that perspective.
Sure. I would say the reason I got my PhD was because I wanted to explore ways to use technology to deliver the services that I do one-on-one. And there's 3 ways to receive help through You-vize-me, through to receive my advice. One is through one-on-one college counseling, and I'll talk more about that. Second would be have an online course, which is part of why I went back for my PhD. Is in instructional design and technology. I wanted to learn how to use technology to deliver that content. And a third way would be through my book that's releasing very soon. I'm actually pre-selling it right now. It's called College. My online course is called College Edge, and my book is called Generation Edge. Your generation for your GPS for career success. So there's 3 ways to get information from me, whether it's one-on-one, online course, or the book. And so one-on-one, students and families have the opportunity to really share what's in the student's heart. I look at their grades, their test scores, their resume, their extracurricular service record, how they've served others, just a really deep dive into who the student is, what their needs are. And I'm almost like a dating service, but for colleges, I'm like a matchmaking service. And so I give them a series of surveys, help them determine where they should apply to college, and a list of colleges that are a best fit for them. Not necessarily the most glamorous, exciting schools, but where can you get in?
College, what? Well, is there a point to go to a brick and mortar anymore? I mean, I can do everything else online. I thought the whole point was the party college selection. What kind of party would you like to attend? More upscale and high? Or are we talking kegs on a regular basis? This is not part of the selection process at all.
Well, those kind of questions do come up, if they want to participate in Greek life, how they want to socialize. Some people are more into, coffee shops or art and performing arts.
And
so it really
varies.
varies.
Your sports people and people
Yes.
who want to be part of the clubs and the organizations, the sororities and all that jazz, right?
Absolutely. And I feel like one of the more important things that I hope to help the students focus on is, do they have your major at that school?
Could be good.
And does this program prepare you for a graduate program if you want, or a professional program afterwards? Can you thrive there academically and socially? Is it a good fit for you? And so those are the kind of conversations we have. Is it also a financial fit? And that's even more relevant in this time with the way the economy is. And so I've helped students win over $15 million in scholarships because that's one of my secret powers.
Well, there's so much out there. There's so much information. As a matter of fact, I just had a conversation, and offline, we're not interviewing. I should tell you about someone I know who does have out of the Vegas area, his own nonprofit, and it is to offer scholarships for young people, for them to have education. So there's a connection for you. See, this is how it works, people. You got to pay attention. You got to get on the podcast and on the interview series so that you can learn who it is you need to meet.
I am definitely interested.
That's fantastic that you do that. And so is there anything else about the program itself? I love that you have 3 ways to approach it, so you kind of really can help anyone no matter where they are. Is there anything else we didn't cover? I know you have the book launching coming out, and I promise that even if it's after we've broadcasted this, you'll find in the description of this YouTube video or in the article on LinkedIn, if that's where you found us, the information and the links for Dr. Jen's book. And her webinars and her online course and all of the little things she's up to, her website and all that jazz. But did we miss anything on how you work with them from a career counselor perspective, or with the college, or from You-vize-me, before I move on to my next question?
Great question. There's something I wanted to add. The online course essentially replicates the process, the proprietary process that I use with families one-on-one. And so families are able to watch videos with me covering all the different topics, ranging from, how to pick a major to creating a resume with examples of resumes. Sometimes they're asking for rec letters, and the people they're asking them from, they're not familiar with how to do so. And so there's guidelines for those references to follow, and a sample one. It's chock full of resources. I mean, so there's videos, there are activities that are very strategic that guides the student through the admissions process. So when they are applying for college, they have the information that they need. And so it's great for students grades 7th through 12th grade. And then something else I want to add about the book is lots of fun stories about my mishaps and my growth and learning over the years in the book. So not only do you have information about my EDGE methodology, but also some personal stories talking about what happened in my childhood, what happened when I was in college, and even professionally. So you just never know what you're going to hear about.
Well, I mean, that was quite I mean, my daughter's 9, and just thinking about her growing up without me, I can't imagine. So really the overcoming challenges and how you choose to handle what life brings to you is a big, I think, part of your story, and an inspiring statement about the person you've become, you know, as you enter in to help all these other young people with their own unique challenges and issues that they face. So I think that that is very inspiring. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. So the next part is, I usually say outside of business and making money and, you know, being all self-focused as we are, which none of applies to you as what you do for a living, is focused on helping and inspiring other people on their career journey. But that being said, additionally, you happen to be impacting and touching the community and the world in a greater way, which is one of my favorite parts of our show. So if you could share with us a little bit of the details around the cause and some of the things you're up to from that perspective, I would love that.
Sure. Well, I am a mother. I have a son that's 7, and so I definitely have a mother's heart. And I helped out with my dad, with my 3 younger sisters when I was growing up. And I worked in education, so I really have a heart for children, especially teenagers, young adults, but in general, a heart for children. And so I got involved with Junior League of Austin. It is actually nationwide, but the Austin chapter specifically has this annual fundraiser called a Christmas Affair. And the website is actually a Christmas Affair. Is it .com or .org?
It'll be in the links, no worries.
Okay.
we'll put it out there. We won't let you miss it.
Thank you. The event is coming up in November. And so with the proceeds of from the ticket purchases, we're able to deliver 1,000 meals every weekend for the academic year to an economically disadvantaged school district. And that's through a program called FIT, Food and Tummies. And then also every winter, we also donate over 300,000 warm winter coats to children in Central Texas. And let me just say, having worked in education in the classroom, and I actually worked in a low income school, I would see children walk to school in freezing temperatures with short sleeved shirts on. And they were absent a lot because they were getting sick because they didn't have coats. And so to know that I'm a part of this organization that provides the coats, I was able to tell my students about the event. And then of course they were able to get their warm winter coats, and they were able to come to school because they're not sick all the time from the temperatures. I know we're in Texas and it's hot here, but we do have winter. We do have winter.
That was my next statement. I was like, who knew? We got an education, everybody. It is cold in Texas. Below freezing? I would have never guessed.
Cold to us. Cold to us.
Yeah, it feels like below freezing. It's 70 people, and I'm just kidding.
No, we have 50 and 40 degrees, and we have 40 degrees sometimes.
Oh my gosh, that low, 40. Do you know how much people in some parts of this country be laughing at you? That's a warm summer day for us. What are you talking about, lady?
Dallas gets colder than Austin does.
I think they're actually
North Texas.
They had some snow and stuff, or hail, and they've had. Yeah, I have some friends that live in that area, but it's always still really, and they're just as shocked. So
you like shut everything down if there's a little bit of ice. Oh my gosh!
Hide in the house.
No, seriously.
That's on the news. But just how exciting it is for them to have that kind of news to report. The weather and the news, they get really bored there. So when the weather does something crazy, they get very excited in that industry.
They do. I mean, we do have more droughts. We tend to have more droughts in Central Texas.
Well,
Houston gets all the rain, and Dallas gets like the snow. We get the droughts in Central Texas.
Well, I love what you're doing, and I thank you for that. And I'm sure all the ways that we can support it, and even, you're making an impact if you like, share, and comment this and spread the word about it. Because one of those, right now, especially if you're looking at this on LinkedIn, it has 40% of our globe's millionaires live on LinkedIn. So if you like, share, and comment this, then one of those millionaires just said, I think I'm going to give all of Texas a coat. I didn't know it was so cold there. And they're going to write them a check, then click on that link and support this cause. So you just never know the power of
Yes.
good behind social media that could possibly be there. So we'll also make sure, so if you know of any other nonprofits and causes and things that support scholarship funds for different unique reasons. I was helping a client once. I do a lot of LinkedIn and social media training. And I was helping a college student get their LinkedIn in order. And they happened to be the student, the daughter of two uh, uniformed police officers. And so there was a special scholarship funding and resources just for children of the people who are public servants in that format. So really fascinating what you run into. And if you don't look, you can't know, right? I always tell people, because when I teach on social media in general, if you're not on the platforms, they can't find you. So if you're not there, they can't find you. If you don't tell them, they can't know. I've always said, well, I can't brag. You've got a doctorate, brag a little. If you don't tell them, they're not going to know you're that smart, especially when you're as gorgeous as you are. Oh my God, fear reigns and the beauty. What can you do? So if you don't tell them, so if you're not there, they can't find you. If you don't tell them, they can't know. I know it's not correct English. It's not the point. And if you don't schedule it, it won't happen, right? So these are the real, true things in life, especially when it comes to social media and online presence, and just taking action and getting things done. So did we miss anything? Are we really good? Did we do well?
Yes, I think we covered a lot of ground. I do want to say that I'm interested in that police officer scholarship. I have one of my siblings is a police officer,
Oh,
and then
wow.
something that I also want to add is between my sisters and me, we have 9 degrees. So my dad did
Oh,
really
he
well.
did real
He
well.
did really
Good
well.
job. Good job, Dad. You did a really good job.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So he's an inspiration too, and that's the interesting thing again about social media. I mean, maybe some single father right now is homeschooling 3 kids by himself because of COVID and working from home remotely, and he gets to see uh, what it might look like if he can just hang on another day and keep pushing through and being that inspiration, because your dad did it, so could he,
Yes.
right? So that's the
Yes.
thing. That is the life vision and mission for me, is if we can share these stories and impact people. Our goal is to impact and help so many people we'll never meet that it's too many to count, right? So it's great when we actually, you're going to get some, hopefully, students that'll work with you, and you'll get to guide them through, and people will buy your book, and people might work with me, and all that's fantastic. But it's the stuff on the other side, the communities and the individuals and the lives that will inspire, that we never get to meet. That's the best part about social media. So do your part, like, share, and comment. And thank you for spending this time with us. But right before we say goodbye, one last thing. I would love for you to share with us one more tip for all the amazing people who have taken the time to watch this video with us. Can you tell us a quote or a book or something you do on a regular basis that has helped improve your personal life or your career overall? So what's a tip you can share with us before we say goodbye?
Well, I like to tell people to do something every day towards their dream, and also just something every day to feed your soul. And sometimes I think it's overwhelming to think about, oh, I have these grandiose ideas and it's overwhelming. But even if it's just a little something, whether it's reading an article, whether it's attending an online course, in terms of self-care, and that's really important during this time with COVID and all, and a lot of the limitations we have. And so even if it's as simple as taking a walk,
Yeah.
a bubble bath, journaling, just take that moment, just do something every day, to feed your soul. Do something every day towards that dream that you have, no matter how small it is, because it will make a big difference in the long term.
That's right. It's that inch by inch that gets us a long way. I love that. And I often say at the end of my shows that, take a look at the sunset, look at the beauty of the mountains, look at the gorgeous surroundings around you and God's amazing creation. And don't forget to take a good long look in the mirror because his most amazing creation is you. So this is Jessica Koch, and this is another Profound Professional interview. I will see you next time. And if you are a profound professional, you know someone, reach out to me. You never know. We might be talking about you next. This is Jessica Koch and Dr. Jen. Thank you and goodbye, everybody. Like, share, and comment. That's taking action. Showing you love us. Don't just tell us. Show us. See you next time. Bye, everybody.